You have left home in a hurry to get somewhere. You are not entirely sure of the address you are going to, and the traffic is very busy, but you are not in the least bit concerned. Before leaving home, you press a small button, and your car moves away from where you had parked it and comes up to your front door. As you approach, it uses a special scanning system to identify you, and the door opens. The seatbelt fastens automatically as you sit down. You tell the car where you are going. Your car checks the traffic situation over the internet and determines the fastest route to your destination. At the same time, since your car is equipped with maximum safety features, the risk of accident is reduced to a minimum. There can be no doubt that were such a car to exist, nobody would doubt the existence of people who had designed it. Indeed, many people would be curious about the designer and manufacturing company and would try to find out about them, large or small. Everything that contains a detailed design and order must necessarily have a designer. And what about the countless variety of living things we see all around us? How can people who believe that this car has a designer account for the origin of living things with their ever more complex structures? Let us now have a look around us. Whichever part of the universe we look at, from our own bodies to giant galaxies, from the living things in nature to cells too small to be seen with the naked eye, we find a flawless plan and order. That stays the same wherever one goes in the world, whatever organisms one looks at. Birds that endanger their own lives for the sake of their young, dam-building beavers, butterflies that conceal themselves by imitating other living things. There is a flawless order in the entire universe. And we witness the magnificence of this order in everything we see. Plants, animals, seas, mountains, human beings, and even all the living things in the microworld. The magnificent features in each and every one reflect the infinite knowledge of God, their Creator. There can be no doubt that it is God who is worthy of all praise, who creates all living things, together with the abilities they possess. At this point, it's important to properly understand that in order to create, God has no need to design. Whenever God wills a thing to come about, His command is just to say, "Be." Such examples in living things are signs, proof, in other words, of the matchless artistry and the infinite nature of the might of God, who created this extraordinary order. The important thing is to be able to see these signs and appreciate the greatness and glory of God. In the heavens and earth, there are certainly signs for the believers. And in your creation and all the creatures He has spread about, there are signs for people with certainty. The ability to measure time may be thought to be limited to man, but both plants and animals possess a time-measuring mechanism, or biological clock. Plants, in their endless variety, have known what to do and when to do it for millions of years. They do this without forgetting and without error, thanks to the program hidden in their seeds. Leaves fall from the trees at exactly the right time every autumn and reappear every spring. Every function performed by plants, from a seed falling to earth and sprouting to the water, absorbed from the soil and distributed to the furthest tips of giant trees, takes place with impeccable timing. Under natural conditions, plants select certain times for certain activities. They do this in line with certain changes in the sunlight. Because their internal clocks are tuned to sunlight, they complete their rhythmic activities in 24 hours. No matter how long the rhythmic motions last, there is one point that does not change. These activities occur to ensure the life of the plant and the survival of the generations, and they always take place at the most appropriate time. And in order for them to function properly, several complicated processes have to be completed in a flawless manner. For example, flowering is not an ordinary function that takes place of its own accord, because plants do not always give off pollen. Moreover, in most plants, flowers open at a particular time of year, because these times are the best suited to the flowering of the plant. Plants' clocks, which regulate this time, also calculate the duration of sunlight falling on the leaves. Every plant's biological clock calculates this period in accordance with the plant's particular features. No matter what the calculation, the flowers open at the most appropriate time. One of the plants that sets its own timing in this way is the soybean. As a result of research into the regulation of time in the soybean, it was seen that at whatever time these plants are sown, they open their flowers at the same time of year. The poppy disperses its pollen to coincide with the days and hours when pollinators are most prevalent. And these days and hours vary from plant to plant. But in the end, with this time regulation, every plant disperses its